So today we're going to do a how-to video on do-it-yourself European skull mount. This one here is one that I found. It was on the edge of a creek. It's still got the hide that's kind of petrified on it. And we're going to go through the process how to get this looking real good. Okay, so I kind of got my equipment set up here to get started. I kind of go through the things we got here. What you're going to need is some sort of burner. This is like for a turkey fryer burner connected to a propane tank. I'll get that hooked up. I'm using a torch to go ahead and light it for safety reasons. Just got a fire extinguisher here. And also notice I do put the propane tank as far away as I can from the burner, just for a safe caution. You're going to need a really big pot that you can fit your deer head in. Like I said, pretty much just set up for frying a turkey is going to work great. Here's some of the ingredients. Super washing soda. I'll go through the process of adding that. That's going to really help degrease it and get that hide and gunk off of the skull that we got ready here. Got a couple scraping tools. Anything you can use will help. And then after we boil it, we're gonna come over here. I just got an electric 1600 PSI power washer. Works pretty well. Also, one thing to note, I kind of am tucked away in the corner here. When I get going, the kids will be around, so just kind of play it safe. It's back in the corner away from them so that they're not around the hot fire. So the first step, go ahead and put the head in the pot, and then you want to cover it with water. Make sure you measure it out. I'm just using 1 gallon here. You want to know how many gallons you put in. Doesn't need to be distilled water or anything like that. I'm just filling it up with the hose and pouring it in. What you're looking to do is to completely cover the skull. If it's around the base of the antlers, don't worry about it. That's totally fine. And it's not going to hurt them at all. Okay, so we're adding the soda ash to the water. We do half a cup per gallon. I got 4.5 gallons, so we just added that in. Now we're gonna mix it up and get it boiling. Okay, so what we're gonna do is kind of scrape some of this off. You can see that flesh got nice and soft with boiling it. So we'll use the pliers, hammer, screwdriver, whatever you got, and go ahead and just peel some of this away, and then we'll hit it with the power washer. So we're just gonna work this skin off. Said scraper, some pliers and hammer. Look at that, coming right off. We're just gonna work all of this off the best we can. It's a process. We're getting nice and close and power washing all that stuff off. We'll go ahead and boil it again. Repeat the process. So we boiled it for about another 30 minutes. I want to make a correction. This is washing soda, not soda ash. So we'll go ahead and hit the power washer on it again. And see, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so this is round 3 of power washing. Just pulled it out of the boiling water. We boil it about 30 minutes in between each time. And we're gonna hit the power washer again. Now we'll go ahead and get that power washer as close as we can for some of this material here that's still stuck on. We'll do what we can with the washer. If that doesn't work, we'll get a knife or even a screwdriver, some sort of scraper, get that off. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so this is the final power wash after boiling. And I'll go ahead and show you the skull. I use a pocket knife to kind of get some of the smaller stuff off. You just want to get it as clean as you can. Some of the stuff here, you just kind of work that knife in there. You get some pick tools, whatever you got laying around. I mean, you can make it work. Get some of that off, and then there we go. You know, kind of pick some of that off and power wash it. It's actually looking pretty white right now. That's from that washing soda. Again, washing soda, not soda ash. That was a mistake in an earlier section. And we're gonna hit it with the power washer one more time. And then the final step is to simply soak it in hydrogen peroxide. and we'll go through that process as well. Final washing, you can see it looks pretty good. We got all that hide, all that flesh off. There might be a few small spots in here. You can always go through with a small pick set or whatever you got, clean it up. But it's looking pretty good. One thing I wanted to note, I went ahead and power washed the antlers. Something to be aware of, it will change the color on them. You know, some people like to keep them the way they got it. In other words, looking here, there might be some brush, you know, or pieces of trees where they've been rubbing, they want to leave. If that's the case and you want to leave it, just make sure you don't power wash that. In this case, I found it by a creek. I wanted to kind of restore them back to the original. So, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Now we'll get it soaking in hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so now we're ready to soak it in hydrogen peroxide. That'll give it that nice white bleach color. Nothing fancy. I'm pretty sure this is about $1 at Walmart. And here's my bucket. I also got this bucket or Tupperware at the Dollar Tree for $1. And hydrogen peroxide is in there. And I believe that's about 3 of those bottles. So, not very much. I used this on other ones, and it fit much better. There were smaller bucks. This one's a little bigger. He doesn't quite fit all the way in there. So what I'm going to do, even I actually did do this with the others, there just wasn't as much showing. I'll take this rag and I'll cover every bit of bone that I can. Be careful right in here. I want to fit it up under the antlers, just like this here. This hydrogen peroxide, it will bleach the antlers, so you don't want to get it on there. This is pretty much what we're looking at. And then what I'll do is every so often I'll come in here and I'll scoop some, you know, with the cup or whatever, and I'll pour it on here. Keep this rag nice and moist with that peroxide to make sure we're bleaching all that. And like I said, get it covered as best as you can. And we'll go ahead and let this sit for at least 2 days. And we'll see what the result brings. So pretty much I just scoop that up and pour it on. Keep it nice and moist. Every time you walk by it, before work, after work, before you go to bed, you want that to be as wet as possible. There we go. Now, if you do happen to get some on the antlers, that hydrogen peroxide, just go ahead and use a little bit of water and just wash it right off. Wash it off. I actually got some air in a can. You don't need it, but it'll kind of help blow it away. That hydrogen peroxide does a good job of bleaching, so you want to keep those antlers as natural as possible. You don't want the hydrogen peroxide touching it at all. Okay, so it's been about 2.5 days. I've been wetting this towel on it, and we'll go ahead and take it out. When it first comes out, it'll have a yellow color to it, and then we'll dry it in the sun, and it'll get that white color to it. We'll go ahead and just leave it there. You can kind of see right here. It was an old skull I found, and those were kind of weak, and probably the power washer kind of blew them out. I got the pieces, so we can glue them in later if we want to. I'll let it dry and see the final product. Okay, so here is the final product. You can see how it really cleaned up well. And that's how you do your own European skull mount.